Today we're going to be talking about how to write and graph using the slope-intercept form. So a lot of y'all might know, but if you don't, the slope-intercept form is written as y equals mx plus b. All right, we're about to get into what m and b stand for. So we're going to be using this formula all day. Hopefully by the end of this video, you'll get to know what, how to write and how to graph slope-intercept form. Hope y'all enjoy. So like I said, here's the slope-intercept formula. Now we need to explain what the m and b represent, all right? So in our slope-intercept formula, the m represents your slope, all right? So whatever number is in front of this x, whatever's attached to the x, that represents your slope. So that's your m, all right? Our b represents our y-intercept. All right, our y-intercept. So this b can either be a positive or negative because there's positives and negatives on your y-axis, which is where your y-intercept sits. All right, so this could be either a negative y-intercept or a positive y-intercept depending on where it sits on the y-axis. So m represents your slope, b represents your y-intercept. All right, so now let's put what we learned into action. Let's identify our slope, let's then identify our y-intercept, and let's go ahead and graph it. I'm going to show you a nice, easy way of how to do it. All right, so let's first identify our slope. So we got a graph f of x equals 2 divided by 3x minus 2. So what I said earlier in the video, it's whatever's in front of your x, whichever attached to your x, that's your slope. All right, so here, our slope would be 2 over 3. All right, so here our slope is 2 over 3. Which means, all right, 2 over 3. So when we talk about slope, slope is rise over run. All right, slope is rise over run. So if I have 2 over 3, I'm going to rise 2, run 3. Rise 2, run 3. Rise 2, run 3. So over here, that means I'm going to go up 2 and then over 3. All right, so 2 up, 3 over. The negative 2, right? The negative 2 that's at the end here. This is our y-intercept. This is our starting point on the graph, all right? So this negative 2 represents our b. That's our y-intercept, all right? So knowing this, we have our slope, we have our y-intercept, we can now graph it. The last thing that I want to talk about is what's called a 0. And as you can see, this is our x-intercept, all right? So 0 means x-intercept. That's important because they'll ask that a lot on like star questions, test questions. They like asking what the 0 is. So if you don't know what that is, 0 is your x-intercept. We'll get to that in a second. So I told you our starting point is our y-intercept, all right? That's the starting point on the graph. We can't graph it without knowing our y-intercept. So I know my y-intercept is at negative 2. So I'm going to go ahead and put my point at negative 2. All right, that's my starting point. Once I have my starting point, my y-intercept of negative 2, I now need to use my slope, which again we know is rise or run, and I know my rise, I'm going to go 2 up and 3 over. All right, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to count up 2 and then count over 3. Count up 2, count over 3. All right, so here we go. I'll count up 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3. There's my first point. I'm going to do it again. From that second point I just added, I'm going to go up 2, over 1, 2, 3. Let's do it one more time. Up 2, over 1, 2, 3. All right, so there's my 4 points on this graph. All right, I could go more in the opposite direction. You just had to go down 2 and then to the left 3. But I can see that this is a positive slope. And I can tell that this is going to be a positive line when I connect it. Now, this is my suggestion. I hope y'all have a ruler at home or something straight and flat to connect this line with. I don't because I'm on whiteboard, but definitely have something, a ruler, a binder, something straight that'll help you make a straight line. I'm going to try my best here. So I'm going to connect all these dots. Make it a straight line, all right? And there is my graph of f of x equals 2 over 3x minus 2. This is the correct way of plotting your points. Again, you can tell if you're right, sort of, by if your y-intercept is at -2, I know I have a positive slope because this is a positive 2 over 3. So when I have a positive slope, my line's going to be going like this, all right? So this is the correct way of writing your graph. Now, the last thing they asked was our 0. And again, a 0 is our x-intercept, so it's where it lies on the x-axis. This line will only touch the x-axis once, and I see that it touches right here, and this point is located at 3, 0. All right, so our 0 in this case is just 3. All right, so if you think you understand, go ahead and try this one out by yourself. This graph is g of x equals -3x plus 6. If you think you can do it, go ahead and try it. If not, we're going to go ahead and try it right now. So, I see one thing right off the bat that changes with this one is that we have a negative slope. Again, where do you find your slope at? In front of your x, attached to your x. So, I see that this is a -3. All right, so my slope here is a -3. All right, so that's going to change just one thing on how we do it. All right, also, it's a whole number instead of a fraction like we had last time. Last time we had 2 over 3, so we go up 2 over 3. Now we just have a whole number. It's -3. So we can write this -3, if it helps you, with slope as -3 over 1. All right, so what does this tell us? What does this tell us? This tells us, right, normally we'd go up and over, right, rise over run. We can also go down. Right? Since this is a negative, I'm going to be going down on the y-axis. So -3, we're going to go -3 units down and over 1. Still to the right. We're still going to go to the right 1. If you go up and then over to the right, that's a positive slope. If you go down and then to the right, that's a negative slope. So we're going to go -3 units down and 1 over. Good. 1 in the positive direction, 3 down. So that's our that's our slope, excuse me. Now we need to find our y-intercept. Again, it's what's after the x. So in this case, I see that we have a +6. So that tells me my starting point, right? My starting point is at +6 on this graph. So that's the first thing I do. That's the first thing I graph when I go to graph this. I'm going to graph my y-intercept, which is right here at +6. All right? So now, what I tell you when it came to a negative slope, instead of going up and over, right, because that makes it a positive, we're going to go down and over. We're going to go -3 units down and 1 over to the right in the positive direction. So here we go. Let's try it out. So here we go. We're going to go down 1, 2, 3, over 1. Draw your point. Let's do it again from this new point. Down 1, 2, 3, over 1. Let's keep going. 1, 2, 3, over 1. 1, 2, 3, over 1. 1, 2, 3, over 1. I ran out of graphs, but this should be fine for me to graph my line. All right, that's plenty of points. So again, I know I have a negative slope because it says -3. So my arrow is going to be going this way, like it is, or like my line is already kind of showing. All right, so again, hopefully you have a ruler at home. I'm going to try to connect this as best as possible. There you go, there's my line. All right, there's my line. Again, we can tell it's a negative slope because it's going down, and we know that because it's a -3 as our slope. The last thing they want us to find is our 0. All right, is our 0, and again, that is x-intercept. So again, with the line, you're only going to have one x-intercept, and I see that it's sitting right here at 2, 0. So your 1, 0 for this graph is 2, 0. I hope this is really helping y'all guys. It's very, very simple. Like I said, if you go with my tricks, make sure you're for a positive slope, right? For a positive slope, you want to go up and then over. And for a negative slope, you want to go down and then over. All right, that'll help you keeping track of how you have your right line. So like I said, we have another few more examples. I really hope this video is helping you so far. All right, so here we go. Another question, another same problem. We have to graph 2x plus 3y equals 6. That kind of looks funny to me, right? What looks different there than in other questions that we've already done? Hopefully at home, you're saying, at the other question, we had a y by itself. Well, we don't have a y by ourselves here. So what does that mean, coach? Well, that means we have a little bit more work to do, all right? And oh no, we have more work to do. You can't have that mindset, guys. Hey, here we go. We had to get this 3y, we just got to get this y by itself, all right? So we should have already learned this. This is just solving for a variable, all right? Solving for a variable. So it shouldn't be that hard, maybe a two-step problem. So here we go. I know that if I want to get this y by itself, all right, I need to get this 2x to the other side. And here's my barrier, so how would I move this 2x to the other side of the barrier? Well, that means I have to do the opposite operation. It's a positive 2x. To move it on the other side, we have to subtract it, right? We have to subtract 2x. So 2x minus 2x, that cancels. It's washed. We're left with 3y equals, I look at this negative 2x and the 6, and I ask myself, can I combine those? No, I can't. One has an x, one does not. So I leave those alone. I'm trying to write this as y equals mx plus b, so what do you think should go first? The 6 or the negative 2x? Hopefully at home you say the negative 2x, and you're right. All right, so negative 2x plus 6. Is my y 100% by itself? No, it's not. We got one more step. What's happening in this 3 and this y? It's being multiplied. So again, to get it to the other side of this barrier, I got to do the opposite operation. The opposite operation of multiplication is division. So we got to divide 3 to all of these on the other side. Cancels out here, we're left with y equals negative 2 over 3. I know it does not reduce, right? So I'm just going to write negative 2 over 3x. All right, what about 6 divided by 3? Can that reduce? Yes, it can. That'll reduce to a positive 2. So my new graph, what they want me to graph, is y equals negative 2 over 3x plus 2. All right, that's what I want to focus on. That's where I want to find my slope, my y-intercept. If you do it from up here, you're going to get it wrong, guys, all right? So, knowing that, looking at my new graph, what is my slope from here? Well, my slope here is negative 2 over 3. All right, negative 2 over 3. Also, I can see my y-intercept is positive 2. All right, so I have a positive 2 for my y-intercept. All right, so now the only thing I had to do is graph it and find my 0. So, where do you start when you graph it? You start at your y-intercept. Positive 2 right here. All right, I have a negative 2 over 3. So that tells me, am I going to go up or down for my rise? It should tell you you're going to go down. I have a positive 3. So that means I'm going to go over to the right in the positive direction of the x-axis. Okay? So down and over. So I'm going to go down 2 and then over 3. So down 2, over 3. Down 2, over 3. Down 2, and over 3, guys. And there you go. 4 points should be plenty to graph this line, all right? If your teachers want more, put more. I think I can get the basic idea of 4 points, all right? So again, hopefully you have a ruler at home. So you go ahead and connect that. You can extend it in the opposite direction. And there you go. There's your line, all right? Where's your y-intercept at, or your 0 is what they're going to call it. all right? Your 0 is right here, located at 3, 0. All right, 3, 0. And again, there's actually other names for your x-intercept. There's a few more names, and we'll talk about those in a later lesson, all right? For now, we're just gonna call it a 0 or x-intercept. So again, a little bit more steps. You can't say, oh no, I don't know how to do this. Oh no, I don't wanna do this. You gotta have the right mindset in order to get this problem correct, all right? So we had to solve for our y. Our new graph was -2/3x plus 2. Our y-intercept is 2. Our slope is -2/3. Our 0 is 3. And there's your graph, guys. All right, we only got one more example left. I hope your mindset's still right. We're about to get into it. All right, our last problem, guys, is the table, all right? It wants us to find the 0, or again, what does that mean? Ooh, I just threw it, look at that. That means our x-intercept, guys. So we need to find our 0, our x-intercept, and our y-intercept of the following tables, all right? We'll leave that challenge problem to the second one. Let's look here, all right? To find our 0, all right, our 0, our x-intercept, if it's sitting on the x-axis, this is a nice thing for you to remember. All right, if it's sitting on the x-axis, that means your x is going to have a number, your y is just going to be 0, all right? So your x will have a number, your y will be 0, all right? Your y-intercept will be the opposite of that, all right? If it's sitting on the y-axis, your x is going to be 0, your y is going to be a number, all right? So that's nice for you to remember, all right? So looking at this graph, or looking at the table, where do I see a 0 on the y column? Because that's my x-intercept. So I'm looking, not a 0, not a 0, not a 0. There you go, right there. There's 4, 0, right? It's really 4, 0 right here. That's a point. That's my x-intercept. 4, 0. See how the x has a number and the y is 0? That's your x-intercept. Same thing with your y-intercept, all right? You want to look at the x column and look for 0, because that's your y-intercept. So we're looking here. Not a 0, 0. There's no more zeros. You're only going to have one y-intercept, guys. So here you go, 0, 9. This is your point. This is your y-intercept. 0, -9, right? That's not bad at all, right? Pretty simple question. And this is going to be a question you see, all right? Can you find your slope from this graph? Yes, you can. All right, it doesn't ask us to, but it's a nice, easy thing for you to see and for you to do, all right? So let's see here. If they want me to find my slope, all right, you need 2 points in order to find your slope. All right, they want you to find your slope. So to find your slope using 2 points, and I'm just going to use the first two, guys, it doesn't matter. You got to use this formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, all right? So, this will be my x1, x2, y1, y2, all right? So here you go, let's plug that in the formula. We got -9 minus -12. Well, I see two negatives side by side, so that tells me I need to turn it into a positive, guys. Divided by my x2, which is 0, minus a -2. Same thing here, two negatives sitting side by side, need to find a positive. That turns into a positive. So now you just got to reduce it and divide. -9 plus 12 gives me 3. 0 plus 2 gives me 2. I know 3 over 2 is at its simplest form, so your slope here is 3/2. All right, it's 3 over 2. So just a little bonus question. That was actually a part of another video I didn't post to YouTube, but this is a nice, easy way for you to kind of know how to find your slope. Again, this is your formula to find your slope. So if you didn't know that or need to write that down, go ahead and write that down. All right. Now, let's go on to this challenge video, or challenge table. It's not that hard, but just looking at it, again, my x-intercept, I have x, 0. My y-intercept, I have 0, y. Well, looking on this table, I don't see any zeros anywhere. So you got to work a little bit. All right, you got to work a little bit. You can tell that your x's are reducing and your y's are increasing. And this will help you, all right? Because my x's, I can tell, are going down 3 every time, right? Minus 3, minus 3, minus 3, minus 3, minus 3. Well, if I do it one more time here, what's 3 minus 3? It's 0, right? Now what are we about to find? Are we about to find our y-intercept or our x-intercept? We're about to find our x-intercept, 0, comma, y, all right? So we need to do the same thing over here. I'm adding 2, adding 2, adding 2, adding 2, adding 2. So if I add 2 one more time, that'll give me 14. All right? So my y-intercept here is 0, 14. See what I did there, guys? All right? It's not that tough. Now, coach, if we keep going down, my x's are just going to increase, and so are my y's. They're not going to get me to 0. So what do I do here? Well, instead of keep going down here, you need to work backwards and go the other way. All right? So if we're minusing 3 to go this way, all right, what are we going to do to go that way? Well, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to add 3. Right? Same thing here. If we're minusing 2 going that way, what are we going to do to go this way? Well, we're going to subtract 2, right? So if I do 2 minus 2, my next y is going to be 0. Again, that's what we look for our x-intercept, right? Same thing here. If I do 18 plus 3, I get 21. Well, here's my next point in that graph. And what does that next point happen to be? Happens to be my x-intercept of 21, comma, 0. All right, guys. So don't let this challenge table trick you out. It's not that big of a challenge as long as you use your mindset, use your mind, use your knowledge, all right, and just work through it. Don't let anything confuse you guys. I hope this video was very beneficial for y'all. Come back to the channel for more videos like this. I'll see y'all next time, guys. See ya.